Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys. My name is Eric Pate. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Racing. With me, your host, Eric Pate. Well, we kind of got a jam-packed episode for you guys today. We're only going to have one thing we're going to talk about with education, and that's going to be what is Dash for Cash, because we are in a Dash for Cash era right now. I'm not going to go over what the points were right after each series. We're just going to go over the points on what they are as of right now. Starting this week, instead of just top 10 in points, we're going to be looking at what the chase picture looks like. IndyCar, we're still going to have top 10 in points because they don't have a chase system or anything. So, they just do it based off of points for their championship. So, we're still kind of keep IndyCar as points, but it's going to be on the case document. Alright, so we're going to start off with the last time we did the episode, which was before Martinsville. See what it was between Darlington and Martinsville. Alright, we are still going to go through top 10 in each series. Real quick. I did not include IndyCar when they ran. Like with whenever NASCAR did. So just letting you guys know that, and right now that IndyCar, the top 10 IndyCar results will do races with the race results. We'll do that last. I handwrote these race results. Top 10. I'm only doing top 10 if you want to. I'm only going to include one link for each series, and it's going to be for the last race. I will show you on my computer and on the phone on how you can look at the race results at the end of this video. If you want to look at the overall results for a race. We're going to pick on Talladega which was the last race. Real quick, we got quite a few names that added their names to the list. Winning. And, like for the first time. Alright, let's start off with Martinsville race results. We only had O'Reilly and Cup. Okay. We're going to start off with O'Reilly, with Justin Allgaier winning that race. Corey Day finishing second. Sammy Smith third. Sheldon Creed fourth. Lee Pullum in sixth. Seventh, Dean Thompson. Eighth, Ross the Boss Chastain. Ninth, Ryan Sieg. 10th, Brett Cruz. In the Cookout 400, we got Chase Elliott finishing first. Denny Hamlin, who dominated the race, second. Joey Logano third. Ty Gibbs fourth. William Byron fifth. Ryan Blaney sixth. Seventh, Christopher Bell. Eighth, Austin Cindric. Ninth, Kyle Larson. 10th, Josh Berry. At Rockingham, we just had the O'Reilly in trucks. We'll start off with trucks. Oh, there's also going to be an additional session today called What Grind My Gears. I do not have a lineup, except I do have one jotted up here. Like topics. We're going to talk about quite a few wrecks. One of the first wrecks we're going to talk about happened with 17 laps to go in the O'Reilly race in Martinsville. There's no wrecks. I don't think there's anything worth talking about from Rockingham. But we'll start off with trucks, though. Corey Heim is going to be in the session about why it grinds my gears. Caden Honeycutt second, third, Lane Riggs, fourth, Stuart Friesen, fifth, Grant Enfinger, Tyler Ankrum sixth, seventh, Corey LaJoy, eighth, Ty Majeski, ninth, Jake Garcia, 10th, Cole Butcher. In the North Carolina Education 250, William Sawalich, he's the first of the first-time winners we have here. Second, Brendan Jones, third, Justin Allgaier, fourth, Rajah Caruth, Carson Quapple, fifth, sixth, Sheldon Creed, Taylor Gray, seventh, 8th, Parker Retzlaff. 9th, Ryan Sieg. 10th, Corey Day. Alright. We did all three series when we hit Bristol. We're going to start off with trucks. We're going to go to lower series to highest series. About that. Christopher Bell won the truck race at Bristol. Chandler Smith second, third, Gio Ruggiero, fourth, Ross Chastain, fifth, Christian Eckes, sixth, Jake Garcia, Dawson Sutton, seventh, eighth, Kyle Busch, ninth, Carson Hocevar, 10th, Brendan Queen. In the O'Reilly race, Connor Zilich first, Kyle Larson second, third, Brett Cruz, Justin Allgaier, who made himself eligible for the next week's Dash for Cash. Oh, I forgot to mention, I couldn't remember the forward. Swalich, Allgaier, Caruth, and Wapple. No. Swalich, Jones, Allgaier, and Caruth were eligible for that Dash for Cash in Bristol, which Allgaier got. Carson Quapple will be eligible, and with the 5th place finish, 6th. Sheldon Creed, he got eligible. William Swalich, 7th. Because, wait a second, I think Cruz was eligible. Actually, never mind. Alright, Ty Gibbs. And then, in the Cup race, the second to add his name to the first-time winners, Ty Gibbs got his first career win. Ryan Blaney 2nd, 3rd, Kyle Larson 4th, Tyler Reddick, Chase Briscoe 5th, Todd Goodwin 6th, 7th, Joe Logano 8th, Ryan Please 9th, Danny Hamlin 10th, Carson Hocevar. All right. In Kansas, we're going to talk about the Kansas race pretty in depth here in just a few minutes. The Kansas O'Reilly race, especially the second lap. We're going to go a little bit more in depth on that one here in just a few minutes. Sorry, I got a cat right here. He wants to be petted. So we're just going to pet him while we read off Kansas results. Okay, O'Reilly, Taylor Gray, Sheldon Creed, Justin Allgaier, Jesse Love ended up being eligible for the Talladega Dash for Cash. Brett Cruz 5th, 6th, William Byron, 7th, Cole Custer, Brendan Jones 8th, 9th, Tim Mayer, 10th, Ryan Sieg. In the Advent Health 400, for the 5th time this year, Tyler Reddick gets another win. Kyle Larson 2nd, Chase Briscoe 3rd, 4th, Denny Hamlin, 5th, Bubba Wallace, 6th, Brad Keselowski, William Byron 7th, 8th, Chase Elliott, 9th, Ty Gibbs, and 10th, Chris Buescher. Actually, I'm going to add something real quick when we talk about Kansas wreck here in just a few minutes. We're also going to look at how Tyler Reddick won this race. I would have to say it's probably my favorite Tyler Reddick win of the year. And no, not because I was at his other Kansas win. Yeah, he does have 2 wins at Kansas. I was at one of them. I was at his first one. Okay. Real quick, at Talladega, we had a sweep of first-time winners. I don't talk about ARCA, but they had a first-time winner. I'm trying to remember the guy's name. But it was like Andy something. So I'm just going to say a guy named Andy got his first career win. So did Corey Day. He is eligible for Talladega's Dash. No, he's eligible for Texas Dash for Cash. Brett Cruz was 2nd. I think Sheldon Creed was 2nd, but he ended up 3rd. Sheldon Creed got the Dash for Cash. He also got the Dash for Cash in Kansas. But Sheldon Creed gets to try to go for a 3rd Dash for Cash. And Sammy Smith was 4th. 5th, Jeremy Clements. 6th, Dean Thompson. 7th, Jesse Love. Brendan Jones. 8th, 9th, Parker Retzlaff. 10th, Austin Green. This one's a pretty popular one. Carson Hocevar got his first career Cup win. 2nd, Chris Buescher. 3rd, Alex Bowman. 4th, Chase Elliott. 5th, Dane Smith. 6th, Ricky Stenhouse. 7th, Ross Chastain. 8th, Austin Cindric. 9th, Noah Gaxon. 10th was Kyle Busch. We're going to talk about what happened on lap 112 in Talladega. I think it was 112 in Talladega as well. We got quite a few wrecks that we need to... For me not doing the podcast, literally looks like for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The last 5 weeks, I literally put myself in a pickle on this one. So we're backed up. We're backed up. Hella. Trojans of Alabama Grand Prix. Okay, I don't know which order these two happened in. I think Long Beach happened 2nd, and then okay. I'm just going to say this, so then I don't have to say his name both times, and I can just go 2nd through 10th on the second one, because he won both of them. Alex Palou. Christian Lundgaard was 2nd. Okay, in Alabama. Christian Longard was second. Third, Graham Rahal. Fourth, David Malukas. Fifth, Kyle Kirkwood. Sixth, Marcus Armstrong. Seventh, Scott Dixon. Eighth, Centennial Ferrucci. Ninth, Marcus Erickson. 10th, Joseph Newgard. Again, I'm not going to say his name again since he won both races. Okay, fine. Alex Palou won the Grand Prix at Long Beach. Felix Rosenquist, second. Third, Scott Dixon. Fourth, Kyle Kirkwood. Fifth, Pato Award. Sixth, Scott McLaughlin. Seventh, David Malukas. Eighth, Graham Rahal. Ninth, Alexander Rossi. And Kevin Simpson, 10th. Alright, here are the top 10 in points. We're going to start off with IndyCar since, mainly because, this is what the championship standings are. Because they don't have a chase format. Alex Palou, 205 points. Kyle Kirkwood, 188. David Malukas, 142. Pato Award, 136. By the way, the number I'm saying after I read the name is how many points they have. Christian Longard, 131. Joseph Newgard, 130. 7th, Scott McLaughlin, 127. 8th, Scott Dixon, 120. Felix Rosenquist, 109. And 106 with Graham Rahal. The Cups, we're going to start off with the Truck Series, how their chase is looking. Now, Truck Series is top 10. O'Reilly is 12. And 16 is Cup. Here's why. That is because that's how many drivers will make their respective chases. Okay, so we're going to start off with trucks. Top 10. Chandler Smith at 208. Ken Huncutt, 207. Corey Heim, 204. Lane Riggs, 204. I gave Corey Heim the tiebreaker. They both have wins on the year, but Corey Heim has more wins. 5th, Christian Eckes, 191. I'm actually about to go on a rant regarding Corey Heim. Gio Ruggiero, 187. Ty Majeski, 182. Brandon Reynolds, 181. Jake Garcia, 146. Justin Haley, 144. Justin Allgaier, 549. This is O'Reilly now. Now we're on O'Reilly's. This is what the chase picture looks like. First, Justin Allgaier, 549. Second, Sheldon Creed, 439. Jesse Love, 403 in third. The defending champion. Corey Day, our latest O'Reilly winner, 399 in fourth. Fifth, Brandon Jones, 353. Sammy Smith, 352 in sixth. Seventh, Carson Quapple, 331. Austin Hill, 321. Taylor Gray, 302. Pregoresov, 292. William Swatch, 280. Raja Karuf, totally forgot to write down points, but I'm just going to... I'm going to say about 275. I'm not going to stop the video and just go look at how many points he has. So I just say the correct amount when we go watch the Rex here in just a few minutes. In the Cup Series, no, I surprised to no one. Tyler Reddick, 484 in first. Danny Hamlin, 374 in second. Third, Ryan Blaney, 344. Chase Young, 340. Ty Gibbs, 322. Kyle Larson, 312. Chris Buescher, 309. Carson Hofsvar, 292. Christopher Bell, 290. Brad Kozlowski, 279. William Byron, 277. Bubba Wallace, 276. In 12th. 13th, Ryan Pace, 269. Daniel Suarez, 235. Joey Logano, 234. In 15th. And Austin Cindric, in 16th. Okay, before we get into watching these wrecks, because we're about to watch some wrecks here. I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant. Someone please tell me in the comment section how a guy who won 12 truck races last year wins a championship in trucks. And he was talking about going full-time somewhere else. Or he was, I don't know, but he loses his ride in trucks. The fucking champion. Now, this guy probably has 2 or 3 wins on the year in trucks right now. But there's a guy by the name of Riley Hurst. Oh, we're going to watch what he did, my favorite driver. That kind of irked me. But what my driver did back was a little worse, I would admit. As you can tell, my favorite driver is Kyle Busch. Here's what irks me about the whole situation between Riley Hurst and Corey Heim. Okay. Corey Heim doesn't have a full-time ride anywhere. Not in trucks, not in O'Reilly, not in Cup. And he should. He should. But Riley Hurst, who on the weekly, did we even say his name at all in the top 10 on any of these? Okay, that one can go offside because that's IndyCar. Not a single time. Not a single time. In this sample, hell, I don't think he has a single top 10 this year. Again, I'm going to be too lazy in the video, and I'll just tell you guys if I was right or wrong. But Corey Heim, and I don't think Riley Hurst has ever led any laps. This year, even. And if he did, it was during green flag pit stops versus Corey Heim was literally at one point in their this year's Daytona 500. Yes, sure, it was 3 wide. But at one point, Corey Heim was leading the Daytona 500. Corey Heim, at one point, was leading the Daytona 500. Sure, with Bubba Wallace and Christopher Bell, 3 wide. But he still led a couple laps in this year's Daytona 500. And if it wasn't for, I think, a couple big wrecks, I think there would have been a chance that we would have seen a part-timer. It's been... Okay, about said it's been 5 years since we last saw a part-timer. 6 years since we last saw a part-timer. 7 years. Forgot about Justin Haley. About said 7 years since we last saw a part-timer win, but I've totally forgot. 1 second. Sorry about that. My in the apartment tour video I did 4 years ago, you guys saw that my bedroom is connected to my bathroom and kitchen, and as you can tell, I'm in my bedroom, and I'm looking right into my bathroom. I know, team, I wasn't about to say. My cat was in the freaking toilet. I had to get onto him, and I didn't want you guys to hear that, so. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, at one point, Corey Heim was leading laps in the freaking Daytona 500. Corey Heim was leading laps in the Daytona 500. At one point. And I'm like, how does this guy not have a full-time ride anywhere? But Riley Hurst, who freaking sucks, does. And I'm making these opinions based off of what I read on statistics. And like the only times I've seen Riley Hurst read laps was when during green flag pit stop cycles. I have actually seen Bubba Wallace lead his 2 teammates, Bubba Wallace and Tyler Reddick, has actually led laps that were not green flag pit stops this year. And both Bubba and like, okay, people are gonna be like, why am I not bashing on Bubba? Even though Bubba has not as good stats as Tyler Reddick, let me tell you the difference. Bubba, let me make sure I don't get this wrong. Did I say his name at all? Okay, apparently within the last 5 races, Bubba Wallace hasn't even finished in top 10. But he has definitely gotten stage points. I think he's even won a couple stages. And plus, Bubba Wallace is in the chase. Bubba Wallace is in the chase. As of right now, Bubba Wallace is in the chase. He is 12th in points. Let's actually pull this up on my computer because I actually need to turn my computer on in just a few moments anyway. Riley Hurst is nowhere close to being in the chase. I don't even know where he is. And I can guarantee you that unless he can pull Tyler Reddick and pull off some wins, I don't think we're going to see Riley Hurst in the chase this year. And I doubt Riley Hurst wins the race this year with how good he is. And the reason why I'm not dropping the hammer on Bubba is mainly because Bubba does actually have wins. And I've actually seen Bubba up front on quite a few of occasions. I actually watched Bubba Wallace win a race in person. And I was happy about it. So, that's why I'm not saying that the ride should go from Bubba to Corey Heim. No, it should go from Riley Hurst to Corey Heim. Because Corey Heim, like I said, led laps in the Daytona 500 with Bubba Wallace, I might add. Corey Heim is the defending Truck Series champion with 12 wins. Broke a guy who's no longer on this earth, Greg Biffle's record. So, yeah. Okay, let's talk about what's Dash for Cash. It is the O'Reilly Auto Parts version of the All-Star Race. We're going to be talking about the All-Star Race here in just, not next week, but the week after next. We're going to be talking about the All-Star Race on All-Star Week. So Dash for Cash is kind of like the O'Reilly version of it. The Truck Series just did their version of it, which was the Triple Truck Challenge, which the first two races were won by Corey Heim. Now, Corey Heim managed to win Bristol. He would have walked away with $500,000. But he won the first two races of the installment of Dash for Cash, which was Darlington and Rockingham. Anyway, so Dash for Cash, though, is a little bit different. 4 races, 4 drivers that will participate in each one. Still full car fields in each one, obviously. Oh, and also for the chases, still full car fields in all of them. I will go more in depth on how the chase will work when we get closer to when we do the chase. I personally would think I'm ready to see how this thing's going to work. I'll be honest, I was kind of hoping for a change too. So then just because like if the most dominant driver of the season has one bad day, they wouldn't get completely screwed out of a championship. Look at 2020 Kevin Harvick if you want a good example. I still feel bad for the 2020 version of Kevin Harvick. Like, yeah, my second favorite driver, Chase Elliott, got the title that year, but it was Harvick's. It was Harvick's, and then Harvick had 2 bad races in round of 8. And if he passed Joey Logano in Kansas, those 2 bad races would not have mattered, and Kevin Harvick would have been fighting for a championship. And that was probably his last opportunity to get a championship. Not probably. That was his last opportunity to get a championship. So, but Dash for Cash, highest finishing driver of the 4 will get $100,000. That driver is also locked in for the next Dash for Cash event. To go for the Dash for Cash. That driver is locked in, along with the top 3 regulars. So, for Bristol, it's Justin Allgaier, Carson Quarple, Sheldon Creed, Roland Swatch. Okay, Bubba Wallace did finish in top 5 actually at Kansas. Sheldon Creed, Justin Allgaier, Taylor Gray, and Jesse Love was the 4 for Talladega. No, Justin Allgaier, Chris Quapple, Sean Creed, and Williams to watch with a 4 for Kansas. That's my bad. And then the 4 for Bristol were Williams to watch, Brandon Jones, Justin Allgaier, Wajraw. Anyway, let's get talking about some wrecks here. We're going to use my projector. Alright. So we're gonna use my projector here. Let's see. Can you see my cursor? Okay, we might just have to use my hands. So when I come up to analyze, so here I'll just come up to analyze, so then I can be able to go to the next slide and whatnot. Let me turn off my fan. I'm sorry, I left my fan on. Anyway, so wrecks and controversies of the weeks. Keyword there, weeks, because we haven't done a podcast in like 5 weeks. There's nothing really to talk about from Rockingham. I believe it's worth discussing. The Martinsville one we're going to talk about, I totally forgot it happened. So yeah. Alright, so let's take a look at the first one. Okay. So they're coming to green. 17 laps to go. Alright. Watch this car right here. Here, let me walk up here. Watch what this car does in just a second. Or I can just come up and analyze when I need to. Alright, that is Lee Pullum right there in the 9. Justin Allgaier, the image race winner. In the 7, this is the O'Reilly race. Green flag goes back in the air, and Lee Pullum misses a shift. You saw there. And then they just stacked up, and the next thing you know, cars spinning, everybody just piles in. And which produces a red flag, and we can see, I think that's Zillage, or is that Quapple? Let's see, where's the one at? Okay, that's Quapple. I thought that was Zillage. You can see Quapple gets pile drive here, door slams. Looks like the 8. Let me rewind. Rewind a couple more seconds. Door slams the 17 of day, and then we can just see everyone just piles in. Basically, when the front stretch at Martinsville gets blocked up, or any straightaway, that's going to produce a red flag, because that's going to be a minute before to get everyone, unless everyone can get going. This reminds me a lot of what happened coming to the checkered flag in 2017's Cup Series fall race. I did not include a video because I'm not going to talk about it because, like I said, I just need to get this podcast done tonight. So I'm going to go to the next one. Next controversy. This happened just a couple weeks later at Bristol. We're going to skip over Rockingham because I couldn't remember it. Okay, so we can see where that yellow circle is drawn. Kyle Busch gets spun out here by Riley Hurst on lap 315, I believe. And he gets spun out, or we're about to see a better angle of it. So you can see clearly that Riley Hurst went up and tagged Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch got a little loose, and then it just spun around on him. Barely missing, let's see if I can get a number here. Looks like Ricky Stenhouse. Couldn't quite get a number. Eric Jones involved. Anybody else? Who's this guy right here? McDowell involved. Bella was involved. Where did he come in from? Okay, so that's Stenhouse. Okay, cool. And then like we can clearly see from that angle, boom, Jones involved here. Now we're gonna fast. That's coming from inside. You can see the frustration because that was like the third or fourth time Jones was involved. This was coming to 4 laps to go, 3 laps to go actually. Caution comes out, Riley Hurst smacks the wall, and we're about to see why the other monster car, Ty Gibbs' eventual race winner. Boom! Kyle Busch spins Riley Hurst basically the same way 185 laps prior. 180 plus laps prior than how Kyle was spun. I don't think that was right hook after further review. Let's take a further review at it. Yeah, that's not a right hook. People said it's a right hook, but I don't think it was a right hook. That was basically a payback spin. There is a phrase, short tracks equals short tempers. And we can clearly see some short tempers there. I think right here, Scott Bush ended up having a conversation after the race, so yeah. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next wreck. This one we really need. This one was only on the second lap of the race. Okay? I decided started it about, so they're coming around to complete the first lap. Looks like Corey Day is out front leading. Let's see, can I get a car number? Yeah, Corey Day. Alright. Josh Balicki spins around. That's not what we need to take a look at. What we're about to see we do. Now, I don't have a wireless mouse. We just see a car upside down of Carson Quapple. And boom! One. Does a quick barrel roll and comes to rest on his roof. This is the earliest I have ever seen the red flag come out. This is like I said, this is the earliest I've ever seen a red flag come out. I've never seen a red flag come out on either the first or second lap. This was the first time I've seen this in any series. Red flag coming out this early. We can just see he comes to a rest on his lid, on his roof. Retzlaff has some damage. Now we're about to take I want to fast forward to a slow motion of it. If we can, are we gonna get one? Hold on, are we gonna get one? Now, this is, so they're going to hook up the car. This is how they would get it back on, is they're going to hook up the car to a record to flip the car back over. So, okay, I'm going to pause it real quick. So we can see the record here. So what they're going to apply a couple straps, I think, to this side, and then they're just going to roll the car back over. Wonder if we're going to see a slow motion where they do all this. I want a slow motion. Watch this CW logo in the top right corner just turned red. Just turned red. Because it went from yellow to red because we went into a red flag condition. Real quick. Come on. Alright. Now we can see Carson Quapple climb out here. Because he's not going to get, now they're going to put that car on an actual tow and whatnot. Everyone's clapping. I'm trying to get to where we can see what happened. Okay. We're about to see what happened here. Alright. I'm going to come up here, guys. Okay. Hold on. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to... I want to be able to see this. The whole wreck. Alright. We're going to go about right here, roughly. Alright. Alright. Rajah and Carson racing for the lead. Here comes Parker Retzlaff. Rajah clips him, hits the wall. Retzlaff then comes in and hits him from the side, which causes Quapple to flip. And he flips. MRN said he flipped quite a few times. So that was a pretty intense wreck. He said he was sore from that. I had a feeling that Carson Quapple was going to win that race. If he continued on, I think Carson Quapple would have had a chance at winning this race, which was eventually won by Taylor Gray. Now, let's look at this one. This is the last wreck we're going to take a look at tonight. Alright, we're on lap 115, so I was off a little bit. I was off by, but Wallace gets clipped into the wall, and then next thing you know, just a bunch of cars just come piling in. This is Talladega for y'all. I mean, we could just see a bunch of cars here just flat out just wrecked. Did we just see the eventual race winner dodge this? Looks like Brad Keselowski was the first one out of the... No, Ryan Preece. I stand corrected, Ryan Preece. But, wow. Like, we could see all these cars. Okay, so they're going down the backstretch. Ross Chastain is trying to go up, and Bubba throws up, makes a block. And then he gets clipped by Chastain. He looks like he clips. See if I can get a number. I can't. Right into Suarez. Okay, Cole Custer. And the next thing you know, a bunch of cars just come piling in. We're going to take one more camera angle. This is all angles of this wreck. I want to look at one more camera angle before we end off the video. And we can just see all these cars just come piling in and wrecking. Okay, here's one more. Alright, so Bubba Wallace is down here. Chastain goes up. He goes up to block Chastain. And then Cole Custer, then he gets clipped by Chastain. Custer turns him. And then all these cars just come piling in. I don't know how. Oh, he got a little contact from Suarez. Okay. And then I want to see if Holsavar was involved, our eventual race winner from this. But we could just see all these cars just come piling in, wrecking. 26 cars were involved in this wreck. 26 cars involved. And we could just see them. Mr. Five-time winner this year was involved. We're going to keep watching to see if Holsavar was involved. Because I think he was. And if he was, okay, I thought I saw 77, but I saw 70, it was 71, but yeah. Just a big wreck. If two more cars piled in, it would have had tied the biggest wreck in NASCAR history. And guess what happened? You have guessed Talladega Superspeedway? It was. And Ricky Stenhouse won that race. Oh, this photo might look familiar. It is a thumbnail of one of the flight vlogs. Alright, we're going to go in my living room for the last part of this video. Alright. Sorry about the little mess. I'm cleaning it up. Anyway, my picks for Texas, I'm just going to go flat out say them. I'm going to go with Bubba Wallace, who nearly won this race a couple years ago. Chase Elliott, our winner from 2024. Joey Logano, last year's winner. I'm going to go with Ross Chastain because I think Texas Motor Speedway is kind of like a trial run for the Coke 600, and he is the defending winner of the Coke 600. Kyle Larson, he's been pretty good at Texas. So those are my picks for the Cup. For O'Reilly, I'm going to go with Corey Day. Corey Day has been on a hot streak as of late. Hell, he even won the last race. Justin Allgaier has a win, I believe, at Texas. Carson Quapple. This could be a good day for him. William Sawalich could possibly win. And I'm going to say Rajah has been trying to win lately. I'm not going to go with trucks because I don't know who's all in the truck race. Anyway, like, subscribe, comment, favorite, be nice, go be awesome. Air Pate on 8. See you guys later. Check flags in the air. And I'm sorry for all the podcasts not being filmless in the last 5 weeks.